What's going on, guys? My name is Kyle. I'm a full-time reseller. I've been reselling for about a year and a half now, and bring you guys kind of through what we sold since Monday. Today is Thursday, so it's been about 3 days of sales here. Also talk a little bit about goals. I came from a professional industry where I was very goals oriented. There's a lot of competition between branches. I was a bank manager, so we had sales goals, we had new account goals, stuff like that, and that's something that I kind of thrived in and really enjoyed. Doing it, being a full-time reseller, I've kind of realized that you lose that kind of aspect in your life. I'm still very competitive, but the problem is I'm not competitive with anyone else, right? I'm competing against myself. I don't really have goals. I'll create checklists, things to do, but I don't really have like a big vision of what I want to do. I've been really thinking about this, and I want to eventually get into the ability to rent like some sort of warehouse or office space or something along those lines where I can work out of. Obviously, I want easy access. I do storage units. I want easy access to get some big, like bunch of stuff into the warehouse at once, which is why I think more of a warehouse kind of space. But really give myself some options going into the end of next year. And I kind of came up with a couple goals. I'll go over those things with you guys at the very end of what my vision is for my business. If you guys want to kind of follow along, kind of see where I'm at and where hopefully I'll be in a year, subscribe, comment, like, all that stuff greatly helps me out. But kind of walk you through everything that we sold in the last 3 days. So I have two different eBays. One's for sports cards. One is for everything else, which is what this channel's for. I do still have some sales going on the old eBay though. So I sold this Nike bat. It's El Loco GT. It's a drop 3. So a good model to have. The drop 3 is going to be like your high school students, older kids, usually a little bit more valuable. I got this bat at the dump for free. So our local dump, you'll see areas where people bring stuff that they don't want, but they're not going to sell it. There's no real super place to donate in my town. There's a lot of places for clothing, shoes, that kind of stuff. But when you want to do hard goods, you have to drive a good amount of time. So it's about 20, 25 minutes, depending on which way you want to go. So a lot of people kind of just bring out their stuff to the dump and leave it outside like these bins. This was next to the metal bin. So usually that means that it's not in bad condition. Picked it up, inspected it, looks good. Sold this for $45, free shipping on eBay. And I have no dollars into it. So throw that up here. And the other thing I sold on my previous eBay was this. So this is like a shaving, got some hair on it. A shaving kit for Ken doll. I think it might be like 80s, 90s maybe. But this came in a storage unit I did where the person had a lot of G.I. Joe, Barbie kind of figures. The Barbie, the Ken doll itself was pretty beat up, but it had all the accessories still on card. So I decided to take the accessories off, put them in a lot, sold for $10 plus shipping. That's actually going international. So 2 sales there. Our new eBay, we have 14 new sales that came in. Started off, this one went for $32.99 plus shipping. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 8 for the Switch. Not really sure where I got this. This may come from a storage unit. I was gonna say I haven't really bought too much Switch stuff at yard sales. My yard selling has been pretty bad this year, so got to get that in line a little bit. Doing more storage units. If you guys hadn't seen my last video, I did a storage unit where essentially someone stole $200 from me, so that was pretty exciting. The owner of the unit reached out to the facility, wanted some stuff back. We agreed to sell all the clothes back to him, even though I was going to only keep 3 pieces and give everything else back because those 3 pieces I valued at like $160. We agreed at $200. Essentially, he went and just picked up all the clothes and left. So if you want to hear the whole story, go check out my last video. This is a 1984 Hot Rod Rowdy. So I did a huge buyout of wrestling figures. These things are beat. They have some pretty bad condition issues here. A lot of paint transfer. The rubber figures I put in bags just to prevent more paint transfer from happening while storing. That only sold for $88.99. Obviously, the better condition, you're looking at closer to like a $30, $40 bill. But for that one, definitely hurts on the value. Sold this teenage romance comic book. This sold for $7.99. Listed this last night, sold last night. So a very quick sale. No comps on it. There was one listed for $19.99, so I wanted to go below that. This comic book buyout I've made a ton of money on. I'm not a huge comic book person, so I'm just trying to kind of get through it here. I don't want to hold on to these forever, so trying to price pretty competitively, and that one went really, really quickly. Next thing we sold is Callaway Big Bertha. So this sold for $13.67. This was on a sale. I think it was like 20% off sale, 25% off sale I have going on. anything in my store over 100 days, I put onto that sale. And then if it doesn't sell and those on that sale, I only run it for a month. I'm going to lower the price by 20% essentially, and then I will put offers on just to get things going. I want to get things moving through my eBay pretty quickly. I don't want to be a hoarder. I don't want to have a ton of stuff. Right now I have just below 1,000 listings. I'm in that like upper 900 area. I want to try to drive that down a little bit more. But I do have like a lot of like wrestling figures, stuff like that. So things that don't take up a ton of space. But I'm trying to stay below 1,000 for right now. Hopefully it won't go above 1,500 to 2,000. Right now my area is pretty much at like a max capacity. I actually have another shelf here that I was going to use for like live auctions. I've kind of come away from that for right now. So I'm using those as storage again. It's going to free up some more bin space, which I desperately need at the moment. And then allow me to, if I want to, eventually I can switch and go back to that. Next thing that we sold was this LL Bean jacket. So a nice big red vintage LL Bean jacket. I've had this for, I think, the end of last season. It didn't sell. I had it priced up pretty high. So I put it, you can see the older LL Bean tag there, or the LL Bean tag there. Size medium. Had this last year. It didn't sell. And then I kind of been progressively bringing the price down on this one. I wanted to make sure that this moved this summer, this winter. I didn't want to hold on to that jacket for a second year, so really kept on lowering. Eventually sold it at that $16 offer. Next one, we loaded up 2 Craftsman wrenches. These are both 10-inch adjustable wrenches. You're not going to be able to see it through the plastic wrap, but they're vintage made in USA Craftsman wrenches. The lot sold for $19.99 plus shipping on that. Next thing we sold, this is Greg the Hammer. Once again, one of those 80s wrestling figures. Luckily, he didn't have a whole lot of paint transfer to worry about. However, his butt is showing through his undies here. The typical guy on this one that needs to replace them, but we have his hair's a little missing too, but slowly moving those. I thought at first that was gonna be a pretty bad buy. Ultimately it is. I mean, it's a lot of work to get there. It's a new eBay store. It's drawing some eyeballs into my store, which is ultimately what I want. I do have a healthy amount of wrestling figures up, and I'm not getting a ton of multiple purchases, even though I really promote my combined shipping on that. So something I'll have to take a look at and see if I need to really readjust. But they are moving. I'm generally shipping out 4 to 5 a shipment, which I try to do shipments Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm a little bit late today. Missed yesterday with some things to do in my family. So, but yeah, moving about 4 to 5 of those per the time I ship. So that's nice. Next thing we sold was this Nintendo DS. This is 4 parts only. Sold for $45 instantly. This thing is pretty beat. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see the scratches on there, but definitely scratched up. And then try to show you through the bag and not just take it out. I don't know. Here, we'll take it out. Make it a little bit easier to actually see it. I'm gonna be taking it out of the bag anyways. I use these bags all the time, but pretty scratched up front, back. When you open, and then screen has some nicks on it. So I put that as not working. When you turn it on, the Game Boy logo pops up, but then after that, nothing else advances. Kind of just sits there, doesn't do anything. So with any luck, they can fix it relatively easily, but still, even in the condition it's in, I think I saw as high as maybe like $50, $55 for parts only, but was thrilled to get that moving so quickly. All right, so the next thing that we did, this is I think, what do they call this? A speed pump. So a speed pump. This came in a storage unit from, I'm guessing a professor or maybe someone that worked for the University of Rhode Island, which is a big university right in my town. There was a ton of marine biology stuff in there. My parents are both marine biologists, or my mom's a wetlands biologist, my dad's a marine biologist. So I used them for a lot of this stuff to kind of figure out what it is and values, and really how relevant it is, because some of these things look like they had insane values on them. However, the sell-through rate, and obviously like people like my father are not going on eBay looking for stuff. They're just ordering from catalogs. So slow moving stuff, but they have really good value. This sold for $150 untested. Now I did agree to the person that if it doesn't work, that I will buy it back. The University of Rhode Island, I don't think is going to store broken things. I would presume they would just toss it. I've also sold a lot from the storage unit already, and I've had no issues with anything like people complaining about things not working. So slow moving unit, but one of my better units I've actually purchased. I think I got that unit for like $300 or $200. They had a bunch of like old like desks that were like lab desks. I sold all those. They were perfect. A lot of people were looking for them for their garages. They were big metal like lab desks. And I sold all those for my money back, and then got rid of them all. I think I had 8. I got all of them moved within the 3 days. And then I also was able to move out a bunch of other stuff. So great value there. Next thing that sold, Rob Van Dam's is sorry, I don't know my wrestling guys all that well, which is another thing I wanted to do is kind of learn, but use the button on the back. He kind of just flicks his fist to throw a punch, I guess. That's all for $6.64. A lot of these things have offers, so I'm sending out 5% offers on all of my wrestling guys. If you watch my thing, I send out a 5% offer instantly. I'm willing to take a 5%. I guess if we're going to use the word loss on any item, I'm more than happy to do that. $14.99. This is replacement rings. This is from a 1996 wrestling ring. So rings and all the, I don't know, rope holders. I don't know what they're called, but they all come with it. Turnbuckles, I guess. I don't know. But all those replacements are there. I did have the ropes with them, but they were super loose, and they were already tied once. So I figured that they didn't really have any value. I took them away. They didn't look super, like, nice. So just thought that would kind of take away, detract from the listing itself. Next thing we sold was a Nike little rain jacket. So this is a kid size, size 6 for kids. So smaller jacket, $11.99 plus shipping on that. Just a little Nike zip up. And the last thing, oh no, not last thing, second last thing, Ultimate Warrior. So this guy I knew, one of the, key 90s wrestlers. Those are the people I knew. I actually dressed up as the Ultimate Warrior once for Halloween. So knew this person. This sold for $6.99. He is super loose. Like, his legs don't stay put at all. So put that in the description. I'm sure it's just a band in here that you just have to replace, and it'll be good as new. A lot of the action figure people are able to replace that kind of stuff pretty quickly and easily. Last thing, I was surprised at how slow this took to sell. So nothing crazy. I'm sure it's just like a little Marvel tag. It's probably like a Target thing. But Captain America, just like a little sweater jacket thing, button down. This sold for $9. I had this last summer. This was a girl that sold all her clothes for 50 cents at a yard sale. I made a killing. She had a bunch of band t-shirts, a bunch of gamer stuff, some really cool graphic gamer stuff that didn't really have a following of the game, but the graphics were pretty sick. So did pretty well there. So that's everything we sold on eBay. Then we had 3 or 4 separate orders, one on Mercari. So the Mercari order, I had this on Mercari for $10. This is just an outdoor blanket from Victoria's Secret. I had this up for $10, got an offer for $8, sold it immediately. This came from a storage unit. Not something I would have normally listed. And that's what I think one problem with storage units, where you tend to feel like you have to list these things. But it was an easy list, easy picture. I didn't even roll it out. All I did was take the pictures and listed it, and it sold. Next thing that we sold, these kids Sorel boots. So kind of like a lime green, yellow look to it. They're kind of dirty, not the best condition, but Sorel boots do well. If I see them for $1 at a yard sale, I'll pick them up for the kid sizes, because generally they'll go within the season. They're usually a quick sell for me. Looks like at some point someone bought this for $10 from either Goodwill or Salvation Army in this area. But that sold for $12.99, even in kind of a weird color slash a little bit dirty here. Last thing we sold was just gray Columbia pants. Those sold for, oh no, not last thing, I lied to you. So these sold for $20, took an offer on this, had it up for $25, sold on PoshMark on an offer. Last thing we sold, this was also an offer, is a 10-pack of vintage Mickey and Friends Christmas lights. This sold for $18, had it up for $20 on PoshMark. $18 offer, took that pretty quickly and moved it. 3 PoshMark orders in 3 days is pretty good for me. If I'm getting 1 PoshMark order a day, I'm pretty happy about that. I've been cross-listing a lot, trying to get that moving. My Facebook Marketplace has been very slow. I don't think I've had a sale on Facebook Marketplace in 2 weeks, which is interesting because it was getting to the point where I was getting multiple people a day, and we're starting to slow down a little bit. So got to pay a little bit more attention to that, get things going there, because I do enjoy selling on Facebook Marketplace. I know it's not something a lot of resellers do, but I'm shocked at the stuff I put up on Facebook Marketplace and people come and pick up. And the distance people will drive for a $10 item is nuts to me, but people do it. So definitely don't overlook that marketplace. But sold on 3 marketplaces in the last 3 days.